initially the feeling was that this mural represents a sort of cross-section view of Mount Chiliad. Then the internet did a bit of thinking and tracking with evidence that we'll get onto and said no, this mural should be overlaid over the map with the sort of all-glowing eye laid over the very far northernmost point. Now, there's also a counter-theory emerging now that we were right in the first place, which we'll get to in a minute. But the key evidence is that there are these X's to be found. It is a fact, we have got them, you will see them on screen. There are a number of, spoiler alert, UFOs to be found in the game. The most prominent of which is on the peak of Mount Chiliad. When you 100% complete the game, you can go back to the top of Mount Chiliad, and providing it is raining or thundering, and what time has it got to be, James?
3 a.m.
3 a.m.
when it appears.
You will see a UFO from the edge of the top of Mount Chiliad. Now, this is a big, sort of classic 1960s style UFO, almost like the one you'd see in E.T. It's emitting lights, it's making noises. The weird thing is, you can't shoot it, you don't really interact with it, and the characters don't really acknowledge it, which is weird. You can try to shoot it and nothing happens. The emerging theory is that this is in fact a holographic UFO projected from a different point. Again, we can't prove this, but there is a video doing the rounds of lights dancing off the side of Mount Chiliad that many believe are the projection point of the UFO. Now, others are saying that this UFO is the start of a trail to find various other UFOs in the game. We have evidence to support it. If you look on the far left-hand or west-hand side of the map over Fort Zancudo, there is a bunker station that at certain times of the day emits very weird flashing rotating lights. Somebody, and don't ask us why, followed that trail of lights vertically upwards in a helicopter, and when you take the helicopter above the horizon line, the words San Andreas appear in the bottom right to indicate you've hit the hemisphere line. And at that point, they hazarded upon a UFO that materialises suddenly out of nowhere, like pixels coming into life. Now that UFO you can interact with, right, James, to an extent?
You can. I think you can get on it, but you basically immediately get thrown off the top of it. But this UFO is more like your traditional sort of Independence Day one, rather than one that we've like an ET round one. This has got like bits hanging off it and like something underneath it that rotates and different lights. It's definitely a more alien looking UFO.
It's more menacing looking.
Yeah.
Now, and then there's that one there. Now again, if you go to the other side of the map, on the east side, northeast of Sandy Shores, above there is a not at all hidden, like, I don't know, not again a mural, but kind of, what would you describe it as? Monument?
Yeah, it's where a lot of people sort of congregate around there. There's always people sitting under it talking about aliens, and there's all different types of alien drawings on the walls. There's people there talking about wanting to be abducted. There's things saying like "beam me up" scrawled on the walls and stuff. And it's really colourful. It's just off the highway, so it's not that hard to miss. You'll definitely find it.
Now again, if you ascend vertically from this point and you hit the San Andreas horizon line, and then you move around a little bit within the circumference of that area, eventually you will see another UFO. This is a 1960s style classic disc silver UFO. The weirdest thing is, on the side of it is written the FIB logo, the FIB being the FBI of GTA 5's world. This is weird. This is where people are saying that if you overlay the mural map over these two locations on the map, they roughly correspond to these points on the mural, suggesting that there are 2 or 3 further items and or UFOs to be found, assuming that the mural map is to be overlaid in this way, which again is a big assumption. So what else do we know to be true? Is there anything we've missed?
The reason I think we found the first UFO at the top of Mount Chiliad is when you go there, any point in the game, there's a little bit of text written under the viewing platform that says "return here when your story is complete," which pointed everyone to, you know, to go, oh, I have to 100% the game before anything happens, which you do. You have to see that Mount Chiliad UFO, you have to have 100% completed the game.
Yeah.
Complete the whole story missions and do all the stunt jumps and everything, and then return there when it's raining and at 3 a.m. with any of the characters, and then the UFO would appear.
Yeah, and there's other things in the game that are peculiar. They are all over the world. There are pieces of graffiti which are relating to either theories of the Illuminati, which is like the long talked about sort of, you know, secret global ruling elite with links to finance, religion, and of course aliens. That's a very big real world theory, and there are links to the Epsilon program, who are well known, effectively the Scientology cult of the GTA 5 universe. Now, what people aren't sure on is whether the UFOs, if they are linked to the FBI, are they also part of some sort of Illuminati theory, or are they part of some Epsilon program theory?